Nothing like waiting the last minute to prepare, huh? How we doing tonight, folks? Thrash Pondo here, and I'm doing one of my, albeit too infrequent, Sunday night live chats. Should be used to it by now. And let's see. Oh, Christopher Wilkinson is here. Hello, Chris. Rachel and Tuba Wade is here. Rachel, how do you? So good to see you, folks. You people are catching on. You know that I always shoot to go a little early to allow for technical difficulties. And fortunately, again, there wasn't any difficulties to be technical about. Tug is here. He says, Guten Abend. And a Uten Glean Glauten Globen to you, too, by the way. Uh, oh, one of the things I was trying to allow for tonight is there have been some hideous glitching going on with my cable. It might extend to my internet connection. If there is unprecedented amount of glitching and freezing, let me know. We might have to call it early night, but we're going to think positively. Oh, also, somebody keep me posted if Denver manages to finish off the Chiefs or if Kansas City takes it. It was in the last quarter when I came on to hang out with you guys, but business before pleasure. My wife was watching it more just to see if Taylor Swift comes on. She wants to know what she's wearing. That poor Ophelia. And let's see what else we got going on here. Snark's ass is here, says Thrash. Cool. Star. Snark, what are you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome to the party. Tug says, hit the like button, y'all. And definitely indeed. John Doe says, the killer clowns from outer space are here. You know, hold on. I'm getting another pop up reminded to do something, which I'm not going to do. They were just talking about that. I was watching The Unexplained with Bill Shatner, and they were talking about urban legends, and they were talking about the infamous clown scare of 2016 and how they think Killer Clowns was one of the inspirations about it. Tracy's here, says, hi guys. Tracy Bubala, how you doing? My lady, and let's see what else we got going on here. Christopher saying good night. Oh, Tracy says, remember to hit the like and subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment. It's all free, and enjoy trash the way we do. And I enjoy having you guys all here. Thank you. Very parched today, by the way. Don't know what. Well, actually, probably has something to do with the 12 pack of Modeo that I managed to polish off last night. Actually, I think I still have one left, but one bullet left. Hey, yeah, I heard him. And let's see what else is going on. Yeah, I think I'm actually caught up at this point. It's people just having fellowship. So glad you guys could make it. Hello to all of you. I've said hello to all you folks who are lurking in the chat, and I know you know who I know that you know who you are. Hello to you guys all as well, by the way. Tonight's trivia is, and I'm sure for those of you who watched Tug's show earlier today, I had to go back and rewatch my show from last week. Lucky for me, I love the sound of my own voice, but I was jotting down all the suggestions for trivia, and I couldn't read a blessed thing. You see, the notepad is on the other side of Godzilla here, so I can actually see what I'm writing when I write it. So it's like, so I went through it. I think I got most of them, but tonight's is going to be a request, and it's for Get Smart. I'm going to be covering trivia questions from the classic spoof TV show Get Smart. And Tracy says, Thrash, not trashy. A lot of people call me trash. You know that. I actually mentioned that in my first ever post. My friends call me trash. Okay, and trivia question. This is not an official trivia question, so no points will be awarded. But where did my gamer name Thrash Pondo come from? I'm sure one of you have paid attention. I even do a content post about it, by the way. So yes, points for whoever can remember where Thrash Pondo comes from. Wajamin is here, says hello everyone. Sorry I missed last couple of lives. Our lives are in the balance. These are the days of our lives. Wajamin more than understand. Tracy, by the way, while before history rolls over it, why don't you give yourself a link, and please give Wajimine a link as well, and one for Tug. Although I can't believe any of you don't already subscribe to all you folks. And John Doe says a block. No, it wasn't Don Blocker, but that's a very good guess. A book. Yes, it was from a book. Specifically, it was from a short story. So technically you are correct, but let's see if we can get a little closer to the bullseye. But I will give it to you. And so far you're the only answer I got, so you are way ahead. Um, who was it? Rowan Atkinson in Rat Race. I am winning. I am winning. Yeah. And so, as far as the general topics go tonight, we can stick to old 60s TV shows if you want. But you know me, I'm game. Oh, and next week, by the way, I think I'm gonna do tugs. I almost did that this week, but I love the idea of doing Get Smart because what could be more retro? But next week I'm going to do last movie roles. That's where, a famous actor and the last thing they star in, and sometimes it's one of their most iconic. Sometimes it's, oh yeah, I forgot they were in that. Some are like, ooh, what a swan song. But that will be for next week. A book of dynamite. Yes, I won the Nobel Peace Prize. It was a dynamite book. Gary's here. And let me guess, he's back. Yes, yes, he is. And again, I'm suspicious. That's all, folks. I am suspiciously caught up. So anyway, old TV shows work with you guys, or wanted you just do basic Michigas, or then you guys tell me this is your show. And Tug's like, Gary's back. And yes, he is. Yes, he is. And a lot of people saying hi to Gary, as they should, by golly, or should I say by Gary. Wasn't that the name of SpongeBob's pet? Wasn't the snail that meowed like a cat? Wasn't that Gary the snail? Yeah, let's go with that. And Tug says, I know you told us the story before, but I must confess I forgot the origin story of your name. Okay, since you begged me, it's actually it's from a short story called The Legends of Smith Burst, which is, of course, by Brian Wilson Aldous. The main character, long story short, he's going on vacation, and in the future that you do transmat to go from one planet to the other, and something gets interrupted, and he ends up on this planet that's infected with antimatter, so it threw off his transmat beam, and he ends up getting embroiled in some of the local shenanigans of the planet. And one of the characters on the planet's name is Thrash Pondo Pons, and it was the last name was very similar to my last name. It's spelled differently, but it was close enough, and so I decided to run with it. It was either that or the Overlord Ponzi from Farnham's Freehold, which would actually be cool too, but I have enough people calling me Ponzi. So I decided to go with Rash Bondo. More people don't get that one, by the way. And hats off to anyone who's read Farnham's Freehold. Christ, I can't talk today. I'm sorry. In any event. So yes, it's a Legend of Smithburst. Braidwood, I love it. I love it. Oh, welcome back, by the way. And yeah, I love the Ponzi scheme. That's and so good to see you with your old school icon, by the way. Very nice, very nice. And Gary says, never heard of it. Most people haven't heard of Brian Aldiss. In fact, I almost fell out of my chair. One of people on Tug's show today dropped Frankenstein Unbound by Brian Aldiss. And I'm like, you don't get a lot of people title dropping Brian Aldiss, which sadly didn't. We were talking about remakes where the remake is better than the original, and you can't count Frankenstein Unbound as a remake because The story it utilizes the plot characters from the story to tell another story, so it's more of a re-envisioning. Um, oh, and by the way, since you remember, I promised I'd tell you the story. Why not? Long story short, it's one of the few feature-length films Brian Reynolds ever got made. For some reason, Hollywood wouldn't touch him. The British film industry wouldn't touch him. They weren't making movies with his works, probably because they're too surreal and by and large. But Corman took a chance with and made a profit on Frankenstein Unbound. So Brian decided that this was his way of becoming the next Michael Crichton. He sat down and he wrote a quasi sequel, more of the continuing adventures of the main character, to Frankenstein Unbound, Dracula Unbound. Big stretch there, right? And it's so sad because it's kind of beneath his writing ability. He wrote when you read it, you're like, "Oh my god, this reads like a Hollywood screenplay." He did. He wrote it with the intention that it would become a screenplay, and it did get published. And he was so proud of it, not for quality, but for the fact that he could turn this into a film. He invited Corman to come out and see him. They had dinner together, and he's like, "So we have a project here." And Corman's like, "I can't produce this; it'd be way too expensive," and no one else would touch it. So yeah, Dracula Unbound did not turn Aldous into the next Michael Crichton. It did, however, serve nicely for some major conceptual points in Del Toro's The Strain, which I believe I've spoken about on several occasions. Um, but other than that, it didn't really help his career any. Danny's here, dropping links. Thank you, Danny. So good to see you, my brother. Watchman says, I'm not going to say what I think that means, Gary. LOL. Gotcha, gotcha. Emily's here, says, hi, Bob. Would put that index card on Godzilla's feet. He could be toting the. Oh, because you're mine. I walk the line. Hello, I'm Johnny Cash. Good one, but it's more like line from a movie or TV shows. But yeah, I suppose I could put it on. Problem is his foot's the card would just fall right off. But very cute idea, Emily. Thank you and welcome to the show. John Doe says, "How about trivia about 5 degrees of Kevin Bacon?" You could do an entire channel on that, but that's a good one too. I will add that to the pile of maybes. Gary says Brian Aldous rings a bell somehow. Probably the thing that you're most likely heard of. He wrote the short story that somehow AI is based on. It's funny because the short story has absolutely nothing to do. An infertile mother in the future gets a child and it creeps her out, and it has a talking teddy bear that's obnoxious, and that's pretty much it. It's the story is more about how people in the future stay thin by intentionally ingesting tapeworms, and it's really um an indictment of superficial society, but it was turned into the movie AI, which wasn't particularly good. Ironically, whoever adapted it, though, you could tell they were a Brian Aldiss fan because a lot of the imagery and a lot of the humor and stuff is like, yeah, I can see Brian doing this, but he didn't. Um, okay, so too late. India's here says Farnham's Freehold was blast from the past if it were written by Larry Flint. I haven't even connected the dots on that theory, but I think it's a riot. um, really? Okay. um, didn't they do a Star Trek Next Generation that was similar to Farnham's Freehold? But Christopher says, "Good evening to Emily. Pleasure to see you." Indy says, "Hey boys." Uh, A lot of people saying, hey to Brian Wooden. Tracy's giving us a link. Oh, Chris says, my dad said to say hi. Say hi to your father as well, by the way, and to say, of course, thank you for his service. I don't know what big anniversaries are coming up, but it's something I always like to touch base with. And Rachel says, I still want 80s trivia. That's on the list. Trust me. That is definitely on the list. You know, I can't talk about the 80s enough. And John Doe says, is it me or is the car is like Jaws? Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. In fact, that video you had me watch where you know it attacks the. Well, I don't want to give anything away in case people want to watch it, but yeah, it's very reminiscent of Jaws. Emily says, "Wait, tapeworms? You say? Apparently that was a thing, by the way, but they actually do an episode of ER about it, but it'll make you sick." 257 is here. Hey, 257. 257 is here and says, seen every episode of She-Ra from 1985 last month on Roku Pons. That's a commitment. Tug says, I have to go to lurking mode while I multitask, but I am here. No worries. I know you're here with us. Bobby EM is here and says the host was the most. Bobby, so good to see you. Haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back. Great to have you on the show. Emily says, I miss seeing you, Tracy. Hey. And a lot of people saying hello to one another. And Brad Wooden says, trivia 60s Rod Taylor movies about time travel. Well, I can think of one. I probably could do an entire trivia game on um uh the time machine. I probably could. But if you haven't seen the time machine, it wouldn't be much fun for people. But I did promise to do vintage science fiction. But there's a lot of little known facts about the time machine that would be fun in a uh, trivia game. Emily says, "That's fine, Eric. We'll just talk about you like you're not here." And Bobby saying hi to you. And John says, "How about a trivia about special effects like Ray Harryhausen, Tom Savini, and Robert Baker?" Um, I could do practical effects all day. I could do practical effects all day. In fact, yesterday I had that old videotape out where me and my buddies were with the old 8 millimeter camera. We're running around making like these little mini movies and some of our special effects tricks. So you know what that could be fun. But yeah, special effects gurus would be fun. Only 257 says Pawns. I know took me 2 weeks to watch it. Never seen the original Shira. It's a great cartoon. I must confess, I was never really much into He-Man, to be honest with you. So when there was a follow-up series, it didn't. I don't think I saw. I saw some episodes of He-Man, not a lot of them. I saw a few episodes of Shira, even less. I still say, I still say, He-Man is simply Thundar the Barbarian in a more high fantasy setting and a little more tongue in cheek. Thundar the Barbarian was dark, but you know, if you can connect the dots, trust me, you connect the dots. At least that's my theory. I think it would have been great if Thundar had had his own franchise with like toy lines and stuff like that. And Tug says I would get 10 out of 10 on the trivia on Time Machine. You probably would. You probably would. Half the questions are going to be about Paul Frees. And he says, ME basis is an amoebic affection. Infection, I can't talk tonight. That is also a great way to lose weight. The constant diarrhea is just a perk. You're also inclined to get various ailments brought on by malnutrition, by the way, because you're going to lose a lot of the nutrients that you really need. It would cut down calories, but again, you lose the nutritional impact. They talk about that in Earthworks, but that's a whole other show. Emily Miller says, I would copy Eric's answers on the trivia about Time Machine. Um, you probably wouldn't go wrong. 5-7 says Pawns, both cartoons were the best. Yeah, there was kind of a wrong time for me. I was late in high school, and so I was just the wrong age. I was kind of out of watching them like as a child, but hadn't really regained the sense of whimsy. Like I'd probably watch them now, but I had a lot of friends who did. And Gary Carpenter says Ray Harryhausen and Mel Blanc. And Indy says the first answer to your time machine game is 208 701 AD. But someone said, Indy, help me out here. I'm glad you brought that up. And of course, the year he goes to when he meets the eel in the Morlocks. But I was on a channel where he was talking about little known facts about it. I heard it says AD on the machine, but don't they use a different nomenclature? Isn't it referred to as a different year somehow? The like the they give an idea that like AD isn't even used. Well, it's not used now, so but very good. And Braidwood says I would get 802-701, 802-701 on time machine. Yeah. And Watch Me will be right back. Emily says, Indy, I think I would offer things coming out the other end. Ew. Um, and John says He-Man and She-Ra got canceled because of how horrible the Christmas special was. I did not know that. Honestly, I did not know that. I believe it, but I didn't know it. And 257 says the 60s machine can. I'm sorry. I think he's going for Manchurian. Manchurian Candidate was the best. I love that movie. I love that movie. It might be Sinatra's best flick. Gary says, John Doe, what do you know? It was a great Christmas. Oh, I think it performed poorly. I don't mean he may have been coming out one or the other, but I think it may have performed poorly, and that what may have killed it. Uh and Gary says it was good, not green, which I'm guessing is great. Ah, he goes on to say not great. And Indy just jumped off the page. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. Indy says to Tug, and if you don't, you just come back from the future to change it. And we've never knew. And 5-7 says Pons recommended Transformers, G.I. Joe, and Gem. That's truly outrageous. And huge Gem fans, Pons haven't seen the awful remake. And John Doe says, I remember seeing the Christmas special when it was first aired, and it's bad. It's really bad. So maybe he does not like it in reality. And 5-7 then goes on to say, John, the story was terrible, but fun to watch, though. And Gary says, John Doe, you have no taste. Oh, now come on, guys. Play nice, play nice. And Indy, Emily, and oh, Emily, I said Indy because they were saying hi to Indy right before. Emily says, kinda blanked up when it came to cartoons. By the time I thought I was too grown up to watch, I had a toddler. That's right. Yeah, you started early, didn't you, my lady? More than us. Well, then the toddler could have watched them. Braidwood says Obodium AD. Ah, I love it. I love it. And 257 says, Emily, whoa! I know, I know. And Gary says, you are not too old to watch cartoons. I know, but you all know you get to like that point in your teenage years where you're above everything. And John Doe says it was worse than the Star Wars Christmas special. Happy Life Day. 5-7 says John Transformers movie from the 80s killed the Transformers, which is a pity because I thought I saw the Transformers movie in the theaters. I thought it was really, really good. I loved the guest voices. I thought the story was good. I loved how it sort of fleshed out the Decepticons. But yeah, apparently it tanked. It hurt the franchise. And Garrett Carpenter says, message retracted. A message retracted to you as well, by the way. Emily says, I was 16 when I had my first baby, so I've been watching cartoons most of my life. Oh, you said you locked up. I thought you were something else upped. Like you didn't watch cartoons because you were too busy with the baby. You lucked because you had a baby so you could watch cartoons. Okay. I totally misread that. It makes much more sense now. Sorry, Emily. It's what I get for trying to read and scroll at the same time. 57 says John Star Wars Holiday Special was more worse. I never actually saw it. You guys know that story, so I'm going to just and I'm a little behind, so I'm just going to kind of scroll through a lot of people having fellowship, saying hi to one another. And Gary says, "Am I still watch them? It's better than what we have on now. Too true." And 57 says Emily Cool recommended Gem. John says when you destroy 80% of the cast in the first 10 minutes, yeah, the movie is going to suffer. Yep, fair enough. And Tracy says, okay, guys, stop fighting. Got to show some love around here. Otherwise, we cannot have nice things. But you know what, Tracy, you are so right. You are so right. But there's a difference between fighting and a healthy debate. We all feel very passionately about these things. So yes, uh, it hasn't quite got that bad yet, but thank you for being the voice of sanity. And Danny says, good luck, have fun, don't die. May be a new time travel movie 50-50. Keep the fingers crossed. And Dan, if that's your way of saying you're going to take off, take care. If you're going to stick around, I'll be chatting with you. Either way, thank you for the heads up. 57 says, Gary, including G.I. Joe, Transformers, and other 60s through 80s cartoons. Emily says, Gem from the 80s. I watched that with my kids. Yeah, it actually started in the 80s. 257 says, yes, Emily. Nice to meet another fan. Gary says, only they are worth watching, especially the 70s. And I think I just jumped again. Give me a second. Oh, I did. Wow. You guys really kicked into high gear. I'm way behind. Uh Emily says, I gave Gary, I give everything a chance. Happy's place. Welcome to Derry Matlock. All great shows. And 57 says, Gary, Hanna-Barbera, and Herculoids was the best. Herculoids was the best. I absolutely loved Herculoids. And Gary says Jam was pretty good. 257 says Sid and Muddy Croft fan. Me too. And 57 goes on to say, agreed, Gary. My favorite episode was Broadway Magic. Don't remember that one, but I'm sure. Sean Innes is here. Says, good evening, all. Sean Innes, so good to see you. Gary says, only anything from Hanna-Barbera are the best. They really were great cartoons. Indy jumped off the page again. Stop doing that, Indy. Christ's sake. Um, uh, where'd he go? We lost Indy. Everyone knows it's Indy. Oh, there he is. What's the category tonight, Bob? We're going to be covering Get Smart. Get Smart is going to be the topic for tonight's trivia. Rachel says, I love Gem even though I was too old, LOL. Sean says, hey, buddy. To Gary Carpenter. Braidwood says, wasn't Robert Prosky's first movie, Thief, with James Caan? Prosky was almost 50 when he started acting. I just want to make sure I have the right person. Was he the guy who was the crazy scientist in Jabberwocky, the kid show? Didn't he replace Robert Conrad? Not Robert Conrad. Michael Conrad? Michael Conrad in Hill Street Blues. I just want to make sure we're talking about the same character, and I think you're right. Yeah, he was the mean old guy who owned the mechanic shop in Christine. If I'm wrong, please correct. Um, so thank you, Braidwood. And John says George Lucas wanted nothing to do with Star Wars. He tried to go to court to block the broadcast, but failed. I believe it. Gary says, only I enjoyed the Croft Super Show. I like the Croft Super Show, I must confess. Um, Michael Lembeck was Harvey Lembeck's kid, as you know. Faison says, John heard about it. I thought you were talking about John Heard. Emily says, Rachel, I was watching My Little Pony when I went into labor with my second baby. And Tug says, if Tracy is the voice of sanity, which of us is the voice of insanity? I'm going to go with me, but a lot of you contribute. Rachel says, can I just say that Jem's Jerica's boyfriend was a red flag cheater? LOL. I did not know that. I did. Elisa Fields is here. Elisa says, hello, everybody. Hey, Thrash. Good to see you, Miss Fields. Welcome to the party. Emily says, I'm sorry, 257 says, Emily, good cartoon series. My family member had a My Little Pony doll. My best friend's kid sister used to collect them. And Gary says, Emily, I rarely watch My Little Pony and the Care Bears. Lance is here. He says, hey, guys. Lance, good to see you. Welcome to the show. Gary says, seen every 80s cartoon ever made now. Excellent. Lynn's like, I'm late. No worries. We haven't even started the trivia yet. And he says to Tug, tend to myself as chaotic good. Fancy myself. You tend to fancy yourself as chaotic good. You are. You are chaotically good. And, chaos. And Sean says, I just got to hear myself to Lance. A lot of people saying hello to Lance. Lisa was mentioning that she was also late. And wow, I am really behind. You guys have really. Oh, Big Guys 45 is here. It says, hey, everybody. Oh, hey, Big Guys. So good to see you. Tracy, please give Big Guys a link. John Doe says, I gave myself 3 bonus points for just showing up. And you take them, John. You take them, John. A lot of people having fellowship, and I'm just going to scroll through that. Braidwood says he was the TV station boss in Mrs. Doubtfire. I never saw Mrs. Doubtfire. I believe he was also in Outrageous Fortune. He played a Soviet agent, if I remember correctly. Big Guy says still a lot more active on Instagram, Reddit, TikTok nowadays instead, though, LOL, but still somewhat active here on YouTube as well, too. But more comments than actual video making this time. Well, we're glad you decided to show up here. You're always welcome. And Rachel says, does anybody remember Belle and Sebastian cartoon was real good? I don't recall Belle and Sebastian off the top of my head. I'm guessing it's based on Little Mermaid. Indy says, I think I think of Prosky as the evil owner of the Knights in The Natural. I don't recall. I'm sure you're right, but I don't recall that. Yeah, I'm sure you're right, though. And Lynn says, Dave at 8 p.m. Monday with 81 topic. Okay. Really? Is that 80? Is that 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Oh, God. Everybody mark your calendars. I hope it's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. He's been going in at 9:30. That's been like kind of tricky for me. But I will be there tomorrow. Come heck or high water. Danny says, our kidding, love the Croft stuff, Bigfoot and Wild Boy. Remember, we were going to do a whole show on that. Someday we will. What do you mean is back? Excellent. Oh, his electric went out. Oh, Shaw. And well, I'm still. Oh yeah, here we are. And if I missed anybody's comment, I'm going to pick up with Big Guys 45. I'm sorry. Big Guy says I'm into the French new wave dance world music band Les Rita Misoku as of right now. LOL. Cool. And 2007 says, somewhat out of space live. Oh, somewhere out in space live, the Herculoids, Zoc, the laser ray dragon, Egu, the giant rock ape, Tundro, the tremendous Gloop and Gleep, the formless, featureless wonders, and Xandar, their leader. So you got them all. And uh Sean says to Wajibin, Stormin, where are you? Um I'm sorry, storming where you are, and Wajibin says no. Good. Good. And Big Guy says, I'm also into Herman's Hermits, Freddie and the Dreamers as well, too. Two big bands of the mid 60s British invasion, LOL. Great, wacky, fun bands, though. One of the funniest one of the funniest episodes of My Two Dads was, I believe, they were going to a show, and Davy Jones was the star, and he was playing this aging English rocker, and Peter Noon plays his agent, manager, whatever. And when she comes out, he goes, "Oh, you've got a lovely daughter," and I thought that was incredibly clever. And I just jumped again. So, here we are. Gary says the only space star, Space Ghost, Herculoids, Teen Force, Space Mutts, great was great. Lance has been watching the new MacGyver, not too bad. Tracy's giving us another link. John Doe says members remember the song Hot Rod Lincoln. Oh, you're gonna drive me to drinking if you don't stop driving that Hot Rod Lincoln. Of course. And Emily says, didn't the Hermits actually sing for the Monkees when they first hit the air? My understanding is that is a myth. There were a lot of pop bands at the time that did walk-ons, um, uh, but I don't believe Herman's Hermits actually performed on the Monkees. I know Frank Zappa was in one or two bits, and anyway, I don't think so. You might be right. Indy, I'm sure will correct us. And Gary says, don't forget the Super Friends, Cap Marvel, Shazam, and High School Heroes. And Mitchell says, Bell and Sebastian was a boy and his dog, LOL. I don't remember Bell and Sebastian. I don't. I don't know why I don't. I should. Now, as far as Boy and his dog goes, I remember Vic and Blood because Blood is a rover. And hang on. Did I go back too far? I went back too far. So I would. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Big Guy says, I'll keep in touch. Take care. Much love, happiness, respect, and positivity to y'all, everybody over here. Big Guys, always good to see you, my brother. Take care of yourself. Braidwood says, how many year live streams has Dave actually done? I've been doing it myself for about 4 years, and he was doing it before I did. I'd say between 6 and 10. 6 minimum. 6 or minimum. And let people saying bye to 45s. Gary said, I'm sorry, 257 says Gary, 1974 shift says Shazam was great. And a lot of people saying bye bye to Mr. Big. I'm almost caught up. Oh, almost. I'm gonna have to skim really quickly. Well, actually, I thought it was. Apparently, I'm not. Indy says to Emily, the Wrecking Crew famously played the instruments in the first season. They were a group of session musicians, but the actors actually sang. Thank you. I knew you'd have the scoop. And John Doe says 10 Speed and Brown Shoe. I was just talking about them. I can't remember why, but I'm sure it was relevant. Gary says the live action shows Electro Woman and Donna Girl, Shazam, ISIS, Monster Squad, Big John, Little John. I loved all those shows. You forget to mention we're the kids from Caper, which is sort of the Monkees if they were crime fighters. And 257 says, and his wife and son in the Hercules. They certainly were. 257 says, a great TV show, Electra Woman and Dinah Girl, was part of the Croft Super Show. Yeah, the guy who played their director was a character actor from way back when. He was in the movie Midway. He's the guy, he owns the diner in Back to the Future, who does the whole, oh, well, Pepsi free. You want a Pepsi, you're going to pay for it. I love a tab. I can't give you a tab till you order something. Rachel says, I'm into Dimash Kabel Bergen, if anyone is asking. Dimash Kabel, I'll give it one more time. Dimash Kubal Bergen. Am I going to summon Cthulhu? Gary says, only I'm looking forward for Hollywood to make a live action Herculoids or Space Ghost. There's all kinds of AI generated stuff with the Herculoids, Thundar, Space Ghost. I wish they would just go through and do something feature length. I really wish they would. Sean says, speaking of music, it seems like it has been a long time since I've seen Music Girl in chat. She works on Sunday nights and it's real difficult for her to get here. I talk to her on Facebook every now and then, but Music Girl, if you watch in replay, thank you, Music Girl. Same to Cindy D. And we could go on. We could go on. You know who you are. We miss you all. Emily says, watch your language, Rachel. Tracy says, I just saw Deidre from Electra Woman. You know, she's in Days of Our Lives, and it's their 60th anniversary. So I saw her last week in a couple of episodes. They are on Peacock if anybody's interested. Oh, Individual Minds is here. Individual Mind, how you doing? And he goes, hey who to you too. 257 says, are you doing live action Herman movie? They are doing a live action Herman movie. I did not know that. Indy says, Emily 257, Sean, and others. And Gary says, only it's a remake of the Masters of the Universe. No, oh, He-Man, not Herman. He-Man. You know, it even said He-Man, but it was in lowercase. Between my inability to read tonight and a lot of typos, but we'll get there in the end. Love you guys. Anyway, what is the topic? The topic tonight is going to be the old 60s spoof TV comedy Get Smart. And 2000 says Master of the Universe is scheduled to be released in the United States and Canada on June 5th, 2026 by Amazon MGM Studios and international by Sony Pictures releasing international. Emmy says there's no real topic right now. Oh, I thought he meant for the trivia. Right now we're just talking like 60s TV and pretty much just listening to Mission Gots, but how they do.
Broncos won.
Apparently the Chiefs lost and Taylor Swift is heartbroken and Mrs. Thrash is having empathy depression. Sorry, hon. Love you.
Oh,
Travis Kelce made his
84th
touchdown for his career. Okay. For any of you football fans out there. Moving forward, 257 goes, no! John Doe says, thanks for the right thanks for the ride, lady. Thanks for the ride, lady. Thanks for the ride, lady. I remember that one. Oh, Sean says to me specifically, well, if you think of it, pass on a hello to Music Girl. I certainly will. And let's just see. Wow, I'm still I thought I was catching up. Oh well. Here we go. 207, it's the end of the world. Gary says not yet. Emily says Dogma comes out on 4K in December. Indy says Dogma, no way. 207 says they already did a terrible gem remake. Now this. Lance asking Emily how she's doing. 257 says we'll Well, I'll stream that remake. Emily says, John, if I had a nickel for every time I heard that. And Brogu is here. Says, hello, everyone. Hello, Brogu. So good to see you. Welcome to the party. 257 says, bad enough. The Running Man was remade. And certainly, Emily says, still struggling with losing my cat. Oh, I'm sorry. And it tanked at the box office, the Rayman remake. Yeah, 2007. I saw that. Len says Ben Vereen and Jeff Goldblum, 10 Speed and Brown Shoe. Oh yes, I remember the show. And I think we were talking about short-lived TV shows. Indy says to Tug, so you learned nothing from the moral of the story. Signs you may have just you may have just cost us the planet, Tug. And Brogu says, message retracted. Message retracted to you too. And Emily says, can't wait to see that one only. And Brogu says, I'm sorry, 207 says, Brogu, great on Craft Super Show. Braidwood says, the guy in the diner in Back to the Future also had a racist line, if you remember, vaguely. And Brogu says, do you guys remember Wonderbug? It came out around the same time. I loved Wonderbug. My best friend at the time looked like the little white kid with the Coke bottle glasses. What was his name? Todd Summer. I'm going back 50 years ish. And he says, do you think they will redo Spaceballs? Well, they're making a Spaceballs too, so I might perhaps. Tug says, bah, no, you won't get rid of me that easy. And Tuvan says Brogu on the Croft Super Show. Gary says Wonderbug, Magic Mongo. You know the hot girl in Magic Mongo was is married to Brian Cranston. The other one is Michael Lembeck's kid sister, whose name eludes me for the moment, and she's cute in her own right, so I shouldn't be so blatantly sexist. So lighten up. And 57 says, "Don't forget Land of the Lost, 1974." Me forget Land of the Lost, and this is where we came in. I'm just gonna skim down. Emily says, "Lance, honestly, I honestly believe he was my spirit animal. He didn't act like any other cat I've ever had." Indy says to Tug, "That is actually correct spelling. Put my mind at ease and tell me you cut and paste that." um, Form is content. Am I caught up? No, not quite. I'm going to skim a little bit, guys, just because I'm so far behind. Form is content here. Finally, some recognition for He-Man, Master of the Universe. Gary Carpenter says, sorry about the Chiefs. It's more the fact she's a Taylor Swift fan, to be honest with you. But I'm sure my boss is a Kansas City fan, and he actually went out there to see the game. So I feel bad for him. Emily says, Gary can't be replaced. Trust me about how to. I have 5 other cats, no mention. A stray hitched a ride under my wife's hood on her way home from work. Crazy. Melissa Foster's here. Says, hi, Lance. Am I caught up? Uh, Indy says to Tug, phew, I was afraid there was another who could summon the Dark Lord. Imagine my embarrassment wearing the same blood cloak as someone else at the party. And Gary says, Emma, I had 2 strays that I feed but thought were both boys and found out they were both girls, and she's underfoot, which is fine by me. Oh, that's nice. Obels Foster is here again. Hi, Thrash Pondo, and all in tonight's chat. Lisa says, love Gem and hated the live action remake. I'm just 257 says Pons just heard my staff member says it's terrible. Oh, bummer. Denny says LOL. Emily says sucks for y'all. Carolina won in overtime today. Keep pounding. Uh, Tug says Indy, if it'll make you feel more relaxed, I did in fact cut and paste it. Home from work. Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of skim down really quick because a lot of people are having fellowship with one another. Forms Content is here, as I said, I think at least twice. Is anyone else old enough to have had comic books based on TV shows? I had Banana Splits, Lancelot, Link, and Yellow Submarine. I did have a couple, but I mostly stick to. Oh, BK in the Air is here. It says, "Hey, buddy." Yeah, I mostly stuck to like sci-fi and post-apoc. Big surprises there. Well, now I think I'm finally caught up. But if I missed anyone, I'm terribly, terribly sorry. I really had to skim. It seemed like a lot of were people saying hello to one another. But again, if I missed anybody, please forgive. Sean says to Indy, "You wear the red cloak after Halloween." Oh, I know it's out of season. Danny says, if I could pick my cat, I'll come in again. If I could pick my spirit animal, I would choose Natasha Kinsky from Cat People." Melissa says, "I didn't care for the live action gem." Emily says, "Form I used to have Jerry Lewis comics." Ooh, 10 cents. And Lisa Field says, "Okay," to 257. Forms Content says, "I had those two, Emily, LOL." And 207 says, "Melissa, you saw that terrible remake." And Gary says, "Oh, he had a Hee Haw comic." And Form says, "Excellent choice, Danny. Definitely." And Danny says, "I actually have some of those old Jerry Lewis comic books as well." Wow. And Len says to Melissa, "Josie and the Pussycats was bad too." And Christopher says hi to Melissa. And Forms Content says, "Wait, what? I loved the Josie movie." Oh, I never saw it. I don't think I did. Indy says to Sean, "Technically, it was always after Halloween until the next one." So I use that as a semantic excuse. Very good. And Emily says, "Never heard of the Hee Haw comic. I would love to read those." And 257 says to Lance, "I enjoyed the Josie movie, though it was a parody of the 70s cartoon." Pardon moi. And holy cow, it's 7:45. Holy cow. You know what, guys? I'm going to have to start the trivia because we're already running late as it is. So if I miss anyone's comments, please forgive. It's been absolutely wonderful having you guys be this interactive tonight. Um, it's actually been a while that I've been that far backed up, hasn't it? But anyway, I want to thank all you guys for your excellent input. But we're going to start the night's trivia, and tonight's trivia is just for those of you who got here a little late to the party. It's going to be on the old '60s comedy spoof TV show Get Smart. And as always, I will start them in no particular order. Number 10. Initially, Agent 86 was intended to be played by whom? Was it A, Don Rickles, B, Tom Poston, C, Bob Denver, or D, Denver Pyle? And I shall repeat. Initially, Agent 86 was intended to be played by whom? Was it A, Don Rickles, B, Tom Poston, C, Bob Denver, or D, Denver Pyle? I love it when the answers are all over the place. It means it was a good question. So let's see. Hold on. What? No, not Bob Denver. Oh, I just blew it away. Mrs. Thrash wanted to play on that one. Her guess was Bob Denver, and for those of you who guessed C, I'm sorry, I can confirm you are not correct. But watch, everyone's going to pick one of the other answers now. I'm surprised nobody picked Denver Pyle. The correct answer is actually B, Tom Poston. Yeah, apparently he had worked with Buck Henry before, and Tom Poston had been envisioned for the part. Oh, She's already left the room, but I'll I'll pass it on to her. She was lip syncing like this. Anyway, number 9. This legendary stand-up comic thrice appeared on the series. Was it A. Don Rickles, B. Bob Newhart, C. Lenny Bruce, or D. Shelley Berman? I shall repeat. This legendary stand-up comic thrice appeared in the series. Was it A. Don Rickles, B. Bob Newhart, C. Lenny Bruce, or D. Shelley Berman? Give you guys another minuet. I'm trying not to give anything away, but really reading the comments out loud, like I just did with Mrs. Thrash, who was laughing at me when she left. By the way, she was of my silliness. You hadn't heard of Shelley Berman? Shelley Berman was a really funny stand-up comedian back in the 60s. He used to do a version of the phone bit, which was hilarious. But in actuality, he was not the correct answer. Don Rickles. Don Rickles actually made 3 appearances and in different characters. Moving on to number 8. Mr. Adams had this legendary catchphrase. Was it "Missed it by that much"? B. So it goes. C. That's life. Or D. Life goes on. I shall repeat. Mr. Adams had this legendary catchphrase. Was it A. Missed it by that much? B. Life goes on. I'm sorry. B was so it goes. C is life goes on. Or I'm going to start again. Damn you. I keep reading it cross. I don't know why. I don't wrote the card. A, missed it by that much. B, so it goes. C, that's life. Or D, life goes on. Oh, that was a chore. Forbes condenses by Thrash standards. This was not a good question. D. Thank you. The correct answer is actually A. Missed it by that much. My father used to say that all the time. Usually in regard to me when I mess something and be like, missed it by that much. Oh, he also had another famous catchphrase. Was it A, read my lips, B, believe it or not, C, I'm a believer, or D, would you believe? I shall repeat. Mr. Adams had this other famous catchphrase. Was it A, read my lips, B, believe it or not, C, I'm a believer, or D, would you believe? And yeah, these most of these questions aren't going to be particularly hard. Some might take some guesswork, but they're not going to be particular. People have been complaining that my trivia has become like some people say it's actually not fun because it's so difficult. But form is content. I'll try to get you some difficult questions here or there. And thank you. And would you believe the correct answer was D? And yes, I use that question just so I could say that because I am a geek. And now we will go on. Oh, Sean, no worries, no worries. Sorry about that, Chief. You know, I suppose technically he had a number of catchphrases, but those are the 2 biggies. Anyway, and yes, he was the voice of Tennessee Tuxedo Gary. We'll do number 6, and then we'll get scores. Okay, number 6. This beach movie baddie played a guest villain on the show? Was it A, Harvey Lembeck, Michael Lembeck's father? Or B, Tim Carey? C, Sid Haig? Or D, Paul Lind? I shall repeat. This beach movie baddie played a guest villain on the show. Was it A, Harvey Lembeck, B, Tim Carey, C, Sid Haig, or D, Paul Lind? Formus Content says trivia is only hard when I don't know the answers. A very piquant observation. Quite zen of you. Zen da 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 da. Zen da da da. Did I repeat? I'll repeat. Yes, I did repeat. I'm not going to repeat. Give you guys one more minuet. Rachel said, just kidding, but I didn't see the thing she said before that. Melissa says, that's okay. I'm actually enjoying it. Good, good. You don't like him too easy, you don't like him too hard. I understand. It's like the Goldilocks conundrum. And he says, I'm almost positive Sid Haig appeared in an episode. Not 100% sure, though. You are now. Yes, Sid Haig was the one in question. And I can't remember what he played. Was it the kid's name was like Daddy-O or something like that. Sid Haig was just the coolest shit in the world. He just so was. He actually has a small part in PHX 1138. For those of you keeping score at home, which I know you aren't. But speaking of which, let's get some scores. Gary says Indy Sid Haig was on an episode of the Lucy Show. Oh yes, yes, where they go to the hippie bar. Very good. Yes, I do remember that now that I think of it. Sean says I went to school with the son of Edward Platt. Didn't know him well though. That's very cool. Watch Me is 5 for 5. Excellent watch. Rachel is 4 of 5. Excellent, Rachel. Sean is 5 for 5. 10,000 Quatlus to Sean for Sid Haig answer. Yes, 10,000 Quatlus to the winner. I actually work a Star Trek question into this quiz as well, by the way. Emily is 2 of 5. Lisa Fields got 4 out of 5, I'm guessing. Unless you missed one and only got 4 out of 4, but that's still 100%. Gary Comer said Sid Haig was on Space Academy. Yes. Yes, he played the evil supervillain, Evil-O, or whatever the guy's name was. Melissa Foster is 4 to 5. Not too shabby. No, it is not. No, it is not. Christopher says, I got 3 so far. Excellent, Chris. Very proud of you. Very good. Gary's 4 to 5. Brogu's 2 out of 5. Excellent. Indy spouts his message retracted, but I'm guessing he's 5 out of 5. Tracy is 5 out of 5. Wajimine says, and didn't cheat off Emily, LOL. Gary says, or was that Jason of Star Command? I think he was in both. Honest to God, I think he was in both. Because I think he was a crossover villain. James Doohan was in Jason of Star Command, though. And Sean Innes says, I should blank the blank before I spoil any more questions. Emily says, Brogu, you could probably do better without me. And Indy is so far so good. Okay, so we're going to pick it up with number 5. This night owl of the entertainment industry stopped in to do a primetime spot for this show. Was it A, Johnny Carson, B, Ed McMahon, C, Jack Parr, or D, Les Crane? I shall repeat. This night owl of the entertainment industry stooped down to do a prime time spot for this show. Was it A, Johnny Carson, B, Ed McMahon, C, Jack Parr, or D, Les Crane? I love when people don't want to guess the obvious answer. It's like, no, that's too obvious. Or is it? uh, give you guys another minute. A lot of people go with Jack Parr. A lot of people picking Jack Parr. Very good. This is one I actually didn't know. Usually I will put a trivia question in my quiz if I didn't know it. I think it's unethical, but I do make the occasion. If it's a really good question, and I didn't stumble, Johnny Carson actually did make a guest appearance on the show. The correct answer is actually A. Johnny Carson. But I'm like, I had no idea he did, but it's just too good to not use. So I used. Number 4. This Western icon had a recurring role. Was it A. Jack Elam, B. Victor French, C. Strother Martin, or D. Lee Van Cleef? I shall repeat. This Western icon had a recurring role on the show. Was it A. Jack Elam, B. Victor French, C. Strother Martin, or D. Lee Van Cleef? Ooh, and Indy with a bonus fact. Oh, Tracy, you hitting the sack more than understand, Bubala. Thanks for joining us. Have a good one. See you next week, God willing. And I think I just gave it away. It actually was Victor French. I'm sorry. Yes. And very good with the actual knowing his number. I didn't. I knew he was on the show. I didn't know what his number was. Number 3. This famous TV doc had a recurring role as a guest villain in the series. Was it A. Robert Young, B. Bernie Koppel, C. Richard Chamberlain, or D. Jack Klugman? I shall repeat. This famous TV doc had a recurring role as a guest villain on the show. Was it A. Robert Young, B. Bernie Koppel, C. Richard Chamberlain, or D. Jack Klugman? Hmm. Doc Adams, I love it. Ooh, Sean with the hint. Sean with a hint. I've never said no hints in the comment section. People usually just copying off each other. But yes, Bernie Koppel from the Love Boat played Siegfried. And he did that overblown German accent that he was known for. He did on the Bewitched and a few other things, by the way. But yes, Bernie Koppel. Number 2. This writer did not provide scripts for the show. Was it A. Mel Brooks, B. Buck Henry, C. Tom Poston, or D. Pat McCormick? I shall repeat. This writer did not provide scripts for the show. Was it A. Mel Brooks, B. Buck Henry, C. Tom Poston, or D. Pat McCormick? Dan is the D-man. I'm a little ashamed of myself for this one. I'll explain why in a second. Informed that I'm going to get C from now on. Remember? Do you remember years ago? Years ago, there was this very famous urban legend that if you answered all C's on the SAT scores, you got a 600. I remember that, and I guess that went back to the 50s. But yes, if you entered C to every answer, you got a 600. It's not true, but but you know they say when you always guess the middle ones. Anyway, the correct answer is actually Tom Poston. There was a writer named Pat McCormick. Not our Pat McCormick, but there was a writer named Pat McCormick who wrote an episode for the show. Tom Poston um, did not write for the show. And the number one question, then we'll get scores. The number one question STTOS EP1. All right, I'll translate. Star Trek, the original series, episode 1, alum made an appearance on 2 occasions, albeit one was off camera. Was it A, Jeffrey Hunter, B, Leonard Nimoy, C, John Hoyt, or D, John Lohman? And something tells me I really have to read that question again. Star Trek TOS, the original series, episode 1 alum, someone who was on it, made an appearance on 2 occasions on Get Smart, albeit one was off camera. Was it A, Jeffrey Hunter, B, Leonard Nimoy, C, John Hoyt, not John Voight, John Hoyt, or D, John Lohman? I'll go Namora Lohman with you, dear maid. Broga says, when it comes to Star Trek, just remember, don't use a black light in the holodeck. Okay. Emily says, I'm only guessing Nimoy because he was brought up earlier. He was? Did I? He might have. We've covered so much ground on this one. The last time I remember talking about Nimoy was when we were talking about Invasion of the Body Snatchers. But I'm sure you're right. Actually, the correct answer is John Hoyt, who played the medical officer in the pilot episode. He, when I said albeit off camera in one episode he plays the narrator. He plays has a part in one of the other ones. But John Hoyt was in everything in the 60s. Everything. He was on Hogan's Heroes. He was on Bewitched. He was on the Monkees. He was just in everything. John Hoyt is the correct answer. So now we can get scores. And Sean says to Brogu, otherwise known as Jackson Pollock Room. Ew. Christopher's 5 out of 10. No, I've never seen the Halloween Tree. Was it good? That was Ray Bradbury, wasn't it? Form's consensus, Emily, I was bamboozled as well. Must have a couple of tricks every now and then. Rachel is 8 out of 10. Wajimina is 7 out of 10. Gary Carpenter says John Hoyt was on The Monsters. He was. Yes, he was. Brogan says, I actually don't want to score. We'll give yourself 600. Sean says 7 out of 10. Yeah, I am in a mood tonight. Sorry for working blue. No worries, no worries. You're our hero. Love seeing you. Emily says, I think I got 4 out of 10. We'll give it to you. Gary says 7 out of 10. Melissa says 7 out of 10. Farmers Content says 3. I think I got 1 by accident. Sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, see if we get any more scores here. And then we should wrap it up actually. By the way, it's I really did the trivia late tonight. And next week, remember, it's going to be favorite. I can't talk tonight. Famous last roles of actors and actresses. Forms Condensed says, What's wild is I watched the show, but it was just too long ago. I believe that. And he says, Rats, if only I could remember every detail from every single episode of Get Smart. Quite all right. Quite all right. Like I said, we're just having fun here. We're just having fun here. Gary says, Forum needs some brains. We all need some brains. Like I only got them because, like I said, they were some of these I didn't even know. I just I forget. Someone asked if we could do Get Smart last week, and I'm like, that sounds fun, so we'll do it. Emily says four. I'm pretty sure I knew three, but still only got four. Bruga says I feel like Jet Jaguar and Godzilla versus Megalon. I'm sorry, I don't know where that came from. Quite all right. It's a great reference. Foremost says points at head, kidneys, kidney brains. Okay. Emily says, same here. Forum, haven't seen that show in at least 20 years. Christopher says, good night, Emily. Good night, everybody. Good night, all. And Gary says, do trivia on the Beverly Hillbillies. It's going to be the same problem, dude. That's the thing is, yes, we all loved it years ago, but we haven't seen it in years. Anyway, you guys are all saying good night. I'll take that as a good night. Again, I want to thank you guys so much. You guys were amazing tonight. There was like so much in the comment section. I really had a tough time keeping up with it. I love it when that happens. It means you guys are having fun. You're interacting. We're having a great time. I mean, I could, sit here and just chat with myself all night, but what would be the fun in that? But anyway, again, I want to thank you guys all for showing up. Oh, and Lisa Fields and anyone else who cares, I came up with I'm going to do another creepy classic. It's going to be on Party at Ground Zero by Fishbone. And I'm going to go another angle with it, by the way. Now I'm going to talk about the lyrics of the song and what it means, but also talk about the music video, which is one of the most amazing videos of all time. There's a lot of great literary references in it. I just haven't, I have all my notes. I just haven't done it yet. So keep watching for my creepy classic on Fishbone's Party at Ground Zero. If you haven't seen the video yet, watch it because it'll mean a whole lot more if you know what I'm talking about. Sometimes, Foster says maybe you could do some trivia on Star Trek original series. Haven't I? I could have sworn I've already done Star Trek. I would love to do Star Trek again, Melissa. So, we could do that. We could do that. Nelly says, "What about trivia on TV shows that didn't even make an entire season? Remember? Remember we tried that and no one had heard of them? Remember? See? You see, this is the trick. I try to do things that people have a fighting chance with. Because if it's like a show that was if it was canceled after the pilot episode and only aired once in 1987, that kind of puts you behind the eight ball if you're watching TV on that particular night in 1987. But you know what? Either way. Anyway, again, I want to thank all you guys for showing up tonight. I love doing these. I love how you guys with me. It's so much fun. It was a pretty good turnout tonight. I think I had over 20 at one point. But Dave seems to be doing another show tomorrow, so I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully, I'll see you guys there. Keep an eye out for my new content. It should be out sometime this week. And otherwise, I will definitely see you guys next Sunday. And until then, be good, be safe, be careful. And I look forward to seeing you all again very, 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 very soon. Peace.